Commanders. Their O-line last year was 10. Now they added Laramie Tunzel, a top 3 pass blocker. Deebo Samuel is one of the great moves of free agency, the classic chess piece. So this is a team that could get 4 to 5 starters out of the draft, got 2 absolute starters in free agency. And again, Jayden Daniels as a rookie was amazing. Another offseason to learn Cliff's offense. I have him at 8.
Yeah. Having them at 8 is pretty interesting. As I'm saying in all these videos, it's hard right now to obviously reach all the conclusions. When you look at the teams that he has ahead of them, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chargers, the Lions, the Bills, the Ravens, the Rams, the Eagles. Again, I'm not going to get too hung up on the exact order necessarily, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, what the heck? We were the top 4 team last year. Some people will say maybe even like, hey, you know, the Commanders played the Eagles better than the Chiefs, and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And that's all fair, you know, that really is. But I think with the Commanders, for me, more than anything, is it's not so much what Jayden Daniels will be able to do next. It's how can the Commanders start to make things easier for Jayden Daniels, because they did come away with a lot of wins where they really did need some special high-level play from Jayden Daniels, and all of it unfolded in their favor. And no matter how great of a quarterback you are, you just can't rely on that. You just can't win that way game after game. It doesn't matter if you're Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, it doesn't matter. You just can't. It's just too much. And you're expecting your great quarterback, your great player to be great, to be perfect, to carry that burden game after game after game. And it never ends. It never ends well. It just doesn't. Again, that's what, like, the Bills will rely on Josh Allen, and it can only take you so far. It makes you consistently a great team. I mean, you can be consistently a great team, but you can't really be that next level. You can see anytime that the Kansas City Chiefs play the Bills, or the Kansas City Chiefs play the Ravens, especially in the playoffs, you could be like, oh, that's a complete team where everyone is rising to the occasion. It's just different. So from my viewpoint, in terms of the Commanders being 8 or 4 or 3 or 2, it's really kind of like, what does this team do? Because he's talking about the O-line and this, that. I'm a broken record with this. Like, I keep talking about the defense, because again, I already know Jayden Daniels is special, and I already know that, you know, listen, if you need Jayden Daniels to win you the game, he can. But the objective is to have the ball with 4 minutes to go with the Washington Commanders and have them up by 10. You know, like have them up by 7. You know, heck, even up by 6, and it's just like, yeah, we just need to convert a couple first downs and we're good to go. You know, like that's what you're kind of looking for, rather than being like, all right, you know, we got the ball back, we're down by 3, we're down by 6, some weird score, we're down by 5, and, you know, let's see what we got. You know, we need Jayden Daniels to march us down the field, and we're gonna go for it on 4th downs and all of this. Like, that's not the answer to me. So the way how they get from 8 to 2, or 8 to 3, or 8 to 4, or 8 to 1 even, to me, it's so much of it is going to come down to the defense, because he talked about the O-line was top 10, or, you know, was ranked 10th or whatever. Well, it's like the defense was bottom. Now let's get that defense. You have a defense top 10, you know, to me that changes everything. That literally changes everything. So that's kind of what I'm looking at more than anything. I also try to look at it like this, because since we're doing things so early early right now, I try to kind of force myself to kind of have fun and back myself in a corner with some of these types of situations. And I think if these teams had to play right now, and we're basing so much of this on last year, and the last time we saw the Chiefs play, they got rocked. The last time we saw the Chargers play, they got rocked. The Lions, they got rocked. The Ravens had an inconsistent loss. They didn't play terrible, but obviously came up short. The Bills came up short. The Eagles, obviously the only team that didn't come up short and won. And I look at this and I think to myself, I can see the Commanders beating the Chiefs. I can see the Commanders beating the Chargers. The Lions, you know, they'll be healthier, but now they lost their coordinators. So it's just like, I can see that being a tough game, but I can still obviously see the Commanders winning. I think the Commanders-Bills would be a fascinating game. Commanders-Ravens, Commanders-Rams, and Eagles. Like, all of those games I think would be really, really tough. and would come down to, pretty much who's on. Can the Commanders slow down Josh Allen? Can they slow down Lamar Jackson? The Rams are a little bit more of a question mark as well, mainly because of Matthew Stafford more than anything. And like I said, the last time we saw the Eagles play the Commanders, they rocked them. But I imagine that would still be a competitive game as well. But like, it's very clear. I could clearly see wins with the Commanders against the Chiefs, the Chargers. I see muddled wins against the Lions, and then definitely kind of like, hey man, these games feel like this can be, just pretty awesome, wild game. Commanders, Bills, Ravens, Rams, Eagles. So that's why I kind of put them more in that category more than anything. But it also depends on when you would meet these teams too. And I'm trying not to think about it too much because I'm not like, well, what about in the playoffs and Lamar Jackson in the playoffs or Josh Allen is amazing in the playoffs and this and that. Like, I'm just trying to think. We just grab these teams. They're playing each other right now. Who you got? How do you think the game's going to unfold? What's going to happen here? And it's just, I see the Commanders right there in it, with the heart of the teams that I believe to be special or great or top in the NFL, which is why when I look at that, 8 seems too low for me, or high, however you want to look at it. And it just like, it doesn't feel right to me. But that's why I think if we can get some more clarity on what they're going to look to do defensively, and finally have Dan Quinn do what he wants to be able to do defensively, because this will be my common take throughout the entire offseason, is that I'll probably pretty much say in almost all my Commanders videos, is that Dan Quinn was brought there to especially really elevate this defense, and that he's done that for every team that he's been with, and that he's built top 5, top 3, top 2, defenses for multiple teams, that when he has the ability to do that, when you give him the personnel and give him a couple drafts to actually be able to do that, imagine a Jayden Daniels with a top defense in the NFL, with a high-end coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, a great O-line that just gives him enough time. It doesn't have to be the top 2, top 3 O-line, but just good enough, a weapon or two, and a consistent run game. I mean, like, again, it's like, what are we talking about here, man? It's just like, it's going to be unstoppable. You put Jayden Daniels in a position to just be an elite game manager, and any of the times that you need him to be a game changer, well, he's more than capable of doing it. So it's just, it's kind of complete. It's so interesting because of how I saw Jayden play last year, and I'm usually such an offensive forward person. I'm just like, dude, give this guy a defense, shrink these scores a little bit, play better defense, let this guy do less, because when you have him do less, he's not going to hurt you. Because you have some quarterbacks that even when you ask them to do less, say, hey, we don't need you to do so much, they still mess things up. They still can't just manage the game. That's why I don't let anyone tell you that being a game manager means you're not good. There's a lot of bad players in the NFL who cannot manage a game. Just a fact, even though they can sometimes do really awesome high-level stuff. So the fact that he's an elite game manager and game changer, game breaker, that's actually what you want the foundation to be for Jayden. That's how you get to the promised land. So that's what I'm waiting on more than anything, than just being like, oh, they're boosting the O-line and now they got Debo, etc. And what's Cliff going to be able to do with Jayden now with a whole nother year? Like, I'm less about that, quite frankly, because I know what he can do. I know the points they can score. I know the runs that Jayden Daniels can go on. I know all of that, and it's exciting. Give this man a better defense, and then it's really game, set, match, because we've been able to see what he could do with a more limited offense, and it was already obviously plenty good. So we'll see. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders being ranked 8th, according to Colin Cowherd? I guess that would put them in the, the fourth, 1, 2, 3, the fourth best team in the NFC. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely genuinely feel connected to. Kind of stroked out for a second there. Something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.